Our next speaker is Dr. Tod Mikuriya. Dr. Tod, as some of us know him, has been a long-term scientist in this field, going back into the 1960s, where he worked for the National Institute of Health and did some work in this field. He is now the coordinator of all the cannabis buyers clubs in the northern part of California, which gives him access to amazing clinical data from an observation and from a treatment point of view. And he's also the founder of the California Cannabis Research Medical Group. Dr. Mikuriya will talk to us now about 3,000 clinical cases that he has overseen in his career. Dr. Mikuriya, if you will, please, sir.
Good morning. Well, California is a different country, and I've had the opportunity living there for 31 years of watching the evolution of medical marijuana policy. And I think that perhaps we can have the videotape that I brought with me to start things off with, which is about vaporization as a way of administering cannabis. And so if the audio-visual person could punch it in, I'd appreciate that. This is the first product of classic pharmaceuticals.
Smoking marijuana undeniably irritates the throat and lungs. A vaporizer is a device for inhaling the active ingredients in cannabis without smoking. Heating either granulated or purified marijuana to between 392 and 400 degrees Fahrenheit brings cannabinoids to a boil and produces vapor. The remaining marijuana, stripped of the active ingredients by the heat, is then discarded. The paint stripper vaporizer uses a paint stripper placed above a water bong to heat the marijuana so its vapor can be inhaled. A conversation stopper because of its noise level. The volatilizer places a nichrome heating element near the cannabis and is viewed through the bowl of a glass pipe that is on a hookah. The VaporTech uses a heating element that surrounds a small glass test tube that fits snugly in the middle and heats the cannabis inside. A customized brass heating chamber is attached to a pistol grip soldering iron, loaded with a small amount of granulated cannabis. cannabis resin vaporization is similar to what is produced with soldering slugs. Common sense dictates using a tip never used with solder, because solder contains toxic heavy metals. Vaporizing permits inhaling the therapeutic active cannabinoids without exposure to the breakdown products of burning. Vaporizing cannabis complies with the recommendation for non-smoking. That concept cannabinoid delivery system uses medicine, don't smoke cannabis. Inhale cannabinoids.
I can't help but be appreciative of the fact that cannabis will have a good future as far as a pharmaceutical preparation in the state of California, at least, if the feds, that 8,000-pound gorilla that goes crazy in the Beltway and does strange things, if they just stay away from California, we have a good chance to develop good pharmaceutical products. And going a different route from GW Pharmaceuticals, to restore cannabis to the formulary from whence they were illegitimately removed in 1938. And I have an application under my company to restore cannabis as a grandfather with the FDA. I don't know what's going to happen. It may be an elephantine process and precipitous delivery, but we're still waiting. Meanwhile, in California, we continue to fight for local implementation because although we have the law in place, it's like Vietnam after the Tet Offensive with the South Vietnam corrupt government still being in control of many hamlets and provinces. And so it's a matter of superior court case after superior court case that we need to win. But we're making progress. We have a remarkable freedom from implementation and compliance in many municipalities, but again, because all of the conditions treated for cannabis in this case are chronic in nature and usually not rapidly progressively fatal. We have a body of political activists that suffer usually chronic pain and frequently enforced idleness, but they also are quite politically motivated to create changes within their communities, and this is the only way it's going to happen. It's really exposed to me the toxic and negative underbelly of certain elements in the criminal justice system, very much like the Rosemary's Baby of the criminal justice delivery system, where we have people actively conspiring to suborn and put the new law to death. But this they're not going to succeed at, and continuing efforts will eventually get Californians and hopefully the rest of the country access to perhaps the safest and most effective medication for treating chronic illness. Thank you.